It is April 14th, 2020. We're here with Sheriff Honsal for his media availability. We're going to jump right into our reporters' questions. So yesterday, there was some information released about this no bail rule that was passed by the Judicial Commission. So the reporters have some questions regarding that rule. With the no bail rule in place now, is the jail releasing more inmates to reduce the chances of COVID-19 spread in the jail?
So Judicial Council from the state made this ruling that they were going to reduce bail to 0 on several offenses, misdemeanors and low-lying felonies. And so the people that we do have in custody right now, I believe, are the people that should stay in custody because we've already kind of gone through our lists, and the people that could be released based upon our risk assessment have been released based on COVID. We're not looking at reducing our numbers now in our county jail. We've done the mitigating factors that we need to do. So the Judicial Council now put a no bail on this specific, offenses, which allowed I guess the number is 10 releases from our jail facility as of today. So our count is about 224 as of this time, and so it's something that I'm not in favor of. And so it's something that I believe is it's over and above what is necessary. Our jail count is fine at the moment, and so we've put mitigating factors in place that like I've explained before, that prevent COVID from coming into our facility, and so it's just, again, going above what is necessary, I believe, at this time. So we have, based upon these new rules, we have released 10, and I'm thankful because there have been, I think, up to 30, close to 40 people that could have been released, but our judges have not, released all the people that were eligible through this system. So there's been mitigating factors. I'm thankful for our DA, Maggie Fleming, because she's the one right now that can be that voice of reason in the courtroom to explain the reason why these people need to still be in jail. There's reasons why they're in jail, and they still need to be in jail at this time.
And due to the new emergency bail schedule, do suspects of domestic violence crimes get released paying $0?
So domestic violence is a violent offense, and those people that commit, domestic violence still have to be in custody. They still have to have a day in court, and that doesn't, this reduced bail schedule does not allow them to be released on 0 bail.
Is the Sheriff's Office working with any local tribes to implement checkpoints to access tribal land?
So we are working with the tribes to talk about their checkpoints. They, Hoopa Tribal Police and the Hoopa Tribal Council wants to instill a checkpoint on their reservation. So they are working with Caltrans. The encroachment permits have been applied for, and so that is going to happen off of the main state highway on tribal land. It'll be staffed by tribal officers. And so anyone that wants to access their commercial area or certain areas of tribal land, you will have to go through their checkpoint, and if you're not a tribal member, if you're not a resident of Hoopa, you'll be asked to leave.
Have any sheriff's deputies had to self-quarantine due to risk of exposure to COVID-19?
So we've had some instances where some deputies have had to use sick time or isolate based upon their circumstances, whether they're sick or maybe exposed to something. But at this time, none of them have tested positive for COVID-19, and so they're all back to work. And I know there's been several law enforcement agencies throughout the county that have had several similar experiences. So far, to my knowledge, we haven't had one first responder, as far as law enforcement goes, that have tested positive for COVID-19.
There seems to be some confusion regarding shelter in place if people are allowed to recreationally drive. Can you talk a little bit about that? Can people go and do a drive through the Redwoods?
Yes, so absolutely. So we are different here in Humboldt County, Northwest California. Again, like I explained last week, is we can be a little looser in our restrictions. There's other areas in the state, the Bay Area, even some other counties that have said you cannot drive to recreate. We understanding we have a huge county with a lot of open space, and we understand that too with people that maybe live in Eureka and they can't necessarily walk to those areas that have that vast open space. We're encouraging people to walk from their house, but if they have to drive to go to a place where they can hike and be alone on a trail, they want to drive out to an area where they know, is open space, then do it. As well as driving the Avenue of the Giants. There's something about therapy about driving through the Avenue of the Giants or some of the other areas. I just ask that there's certain parks that are closed, there's certain public land that is closed. So please do, if there's a barricade up that said this road is closed, this public land is closed, this trail is closed, please honor that. Don't violate that order. It just invites people to then call us, and then we're going to come where we really have an emergency to go to, then we're going to have to go and deal with the trespasser. So please just utilize, what is open to the public. And if you have any questions, there's several websites through the state parks, federal parks, county parks. You can kind of do research to figure out what park is open and what's accessible. But maintain social distancing at all times.
How many citations has the Sheriff's Office issued for violating the shelter-in-place order? And do you know if other local law enforcement agencies are issuing citations?
So within the county, the Sheriff's Office has not issued any citations yet. We haven't had a reason to. Everyone is doing very, very good with their shelter-in-place. For people that have been warned, we haven't been back multiple times to issue a citation. That is always within our capabilities of doing so. Or when someone has done something so egregious that we're just going to issue that $1,000 citation, we don't have a problem doing that. But so far, we haven't had a reason to do that. There's been other jurisdictions that have used that authority, and for good reasons, for people that are violating the shelter-in-place order. So I urge people, the order's still in place. I know the weather's nice, and there's a lot of factors because we've had several days where we've had 0 new cases, but still, the shelter-in-place order is in place. Please honor that, and if we stay home, honor this right now, we can continue this, and there is, that time coming in the future where we will start relaxing those restrictions and allowing people to go and do their activities as they once did.
And finally, of the 50 cases, do you know if any of those are confirmed to be in the homeless community, or has it hit the homeless population?
So right now, the public health officer has not released specific information about where people live or if they're homeless or not. So that's something that the public health officer may or may not be released in the future. But I just want people to know that if people do test positive and they are homeless or houseless, that we do have a place to take those people, and they can shelter in a place by themselves and be provided for. Public health has and working with DHHS, has found locations for them to isolate and be provided for. So it's something that we have a plan in place, and rest assured that we have room for people that may be homeless to have an area where they can isolate.
Is there anything else that the community should know today?
I just want the community to know that I'm proud of them. I know we've asked a lot over this last month. It's 30 plus days into this, and I know that there's been a lot of personal sacrifices. I know businesses have suffered. I know families are, have a certain amount of anxiety and fear. So I'm urging people not to be fearful. I'm urging people to understand that it is in the community right now. Community transmission has taken place within the county, but right now it's a good time. Let's continue to go down the road of sheltering in place. Let's give this a little bit more time. We have to wait for the governor to release our shelter-in-place order for us to do anything here. So we're depending on the governor and the leadership of the Sacramento in order to determine what businesses open up, how we slowly open up the economy, when do the schools open up. All those things are going to be answered by the state, because we can't become more or less restrictive than the state. Even though we might not see it up here, the state has made a blanket order to still shelter in place. And I do want to add, now is the time and the opportunity to support local, okay? Where you're looking around, you're seeing businesses that have failed, you see businesses that are becoming very, very innovative. If they are restaurants, if they're bakeries, if they're local meats and dairies, those kind of things. If you can't afford it right now, please support these businesses. Buy local milk, buy local meat. All these things support our industry here in Humboldt County. And it's so important now, as we're coming out of this, that we're able to support our local businesses that have been supporting us for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you.